I used to think if I rode more trails, I'd get more fit. So I rode more and nothing changed. I actually gained weight at one point. Last year, I tried a different kind of cycling, something I'd only half-assed tried since 2018, indoor riding, and I fell in love with it. Since then, I haven't missed a week in 45 weeks. I'm in the best shape of my life and the fastest I've been on the trails. So today, I want to talk about the fitness upgrade that I ignored for nearly 10 years, and I'm also testing something new that might make getting fit even easier. Before we get into unboxing my new bike, here's what I finally realized. Mountain biking alone is not the most effective way to build fitness. Hear me out. Trail riding is chaotic. You pedal really hard for a jump, you're 10-step on the descents, your heart rate is spiked through the roof on climbs, and then you go soft pedal, maybe sit and wait a while at the top. It's stimulating, it's fun, it's demanding, but it's not a controlled workout that leads to fitness. Most trail climbs around here are steep. Even the easiest dedicated climb trails require almost 300 watts just to keep the bike upright and moving. For me, that's well over my threshold, basically a high intensity workout. So instead of a steady aerobic ride building fitness, I constantly spike into high intensity efforts during mountain bike rides. And high intensity is great, don't get me wrong, in the right dose. But if that's all you ever do, you're not building a proper aerobic base. Ever since I've moved to Bentonville, I wanted to get fit. I wanted to be lean, I wanted to ride longer, ride faster. So I rode hard and as often as I could, but I wasn't training smart. I was just crushing myself on these rides, finishing completely wrecked, and then eating like crazy because I felt like I earned it. So how do you bridge the gap? How do you get fit for trails when all that you have to ride are trails that are kind of too steep and too strenuous? Well, that's where indoor riding comes in. Last year, I took the plunge and I bought a dedicated indoor trainer, a Zwift Ride with a Kicker Core 2. I had tried indoor riding on and off since 2018, and honestly, every time I tried it, I hated it. But this time, I tried something different, Zwift Racing. And that changed everything. Real people, real competition, there's drafting, there's tactics, you feel the hill gradients. It stopped feeling like a workout and started feeling like a game. And that's when I stuck with it. I've raced weekly for months. I've worked my way from the E to the B category. My VO2 max went from 44 to 50. And according to Garmin, that's the top 20% for my age. And now I can ride for an hour without fading. I can climb to the top at a solid pace and not need to sit and catch my breath at the top. And that didn't come from riding more trails. It came from consistent structured work indoors. The way I look at it now, indoor riding is my training, mountain bike trail riding is my sport that I do for fun. Indoor is where I build the engine, trails are where I use it. And the best part, I have 5 kids. I'm self-employed. I can't just disappear for 3 extra hours a week to go ride whenever I want. But after the kids go to bed, 1 uninterrupted hour on the trainer is a really good workout. Honestly, 1 focused hour indoors can equal 2 casual hours on the trail. And there's no driving, there's no weather to deal with, there's no guesswork, and there's a much lower risk of crashing.
This ride's over.
Now, I like my current setup. It gets the job done, but it's not perfect. It's loud, it requires a separate device for a screen, and after all this time, I'm still struggling setting up the bike and feeling comfortable. So I went searching for another smart indoor bike trainer that might be a better experience. But let's get this unboxed to find out. This is the VeloNix smart bike from the brand name Speedience. It showed up in a massive box, and I was a little worried because you have to flip this whole box over after you install the base, but honestly, it went together pretty easily. Man, that was brutal. All good though. And putting this bike together actually gets me fired up. I love indoor riding, and a lot of this indoor riding journey started when I gained 15 pounds. I work from home now, basically a desk job, so my daily activity dropped a lot compared to when I was a nurse walking around the hospital all day. So I dieted, I lost the weight, but eating that little just to maintain isn't that fun. If I want to eat more, I have to burn more calories. and an hour on Zwift can burn 500 to 700 calories pretty easily, and that gives me some wiggle room to enjoy food a little bit more, maybe a snack, maybe a bigger breakfast. And the cool part is, once I started riding consistently, the fitness started compounding. I didn't even check my weight for a month, and when I finally did, I had dropped another 4 pounds and dipped under 23% body fat, something I had been chasing since 2024. All right, the bike's built, and first impression, this thing feels solid, like commercial gym level professional solid. One thing I already like, it's a dedicated indoor bike. I don't have to mount my personal bike to a trainer. I don't have to swap wheels or adjust anything back and forth. It just lives here. That removes a barrier, and the less friction between you and the workout, the more consistent you'll be. And the footprint of this thing is actually pretty compact. For something this sturdy, it doesn't take over the room. Now here's the thing. There are a few non-negotiables that separate a real smart trainer from one of those basic spin bikes at the gym. First, this is much quieter than my Zwift setup. No chain noise, no drivetrain chatter. This thing is quiet. That alone is a big deal if you live in an apartment complex or you ride at nighttime like I do. The fit of this thing is totally adjustable too. The bar height moves up and down, the seat height adjusts, saddle slides forward and back, and I really like these hand positions. You got the standard grip, and then these inside grips that almost feel like mini aero bars. And this is gonna really feel great on longer sessions. It's a lot of variety to put my hands. I swapped on my own clipless pedals. That's a must for me. This just feels like a really good riding position. I'm excited to get a ride in. The shifters look like little brake levers, which I like. It feels familiar, and you can set it to shift like SRAM or Shimano. And you can adjust the resistance from the inner controls too. One thing I would have liked is a small tray up front for a phone or my AC remote, but there are mounting positions here, so maybe that's something that could be added. But this can be the best smart trainer in the world, but none of that matters unless we have Zwift. To kick this off, the touch-controlled screen is massive, and there's a big speaker at the bottom. It easily connected to Zwift and got my heart rate monitor synced up too. And just like that, I was off on my Zwift race. The first thing I noticed, this thing is so smooth and so quiet. The power delivery comes on nice and easy, and the flywheel is really nice. And did I mention it's quiet? Like, my riding shorts rubbing together are louder than the bike itself. It has a 2300 watt electric powertrain with a power accuracy of plus or minus 1%. There's also an FTP zone indicator light that works even outside of Zwift. And this is super cool too when you have your hands on the sticks, got your head down not looking at the screen, at least you can still see what zone you're in. Going into this, I was really curious how the chainless flywheel would feel. The internal wheel spins like a normal drivetrain, very similar to the inertia of my Zwift setup, just this one is fully enclosed and it's much safer if you have kids around. During my race when I really sprinted, there was a slight clutch type slip and catch as the flywheel ramped up to my power. It wasn't bad, but it was noticeable if you're going full gas or really surging to start your sprint. On climbs, it synced perfectly with Zwift. When the gradient kicked up, the resistance kicked up, and I had to shift just like I would outside. The only thing I missed with my Zwift race was steering. And that only matters if you're deep into Zwift racing strategy and drafting, like I am. For most people, it's not a deal breaker. Unfortunately, I got dropped on my Zwift race. The B class is no joke, and the bike wasn't the problem. When I finished, the ride synced straight to Garmin and Strava, because let's be honest, if it's not on Strava, did it ever even happen? Now here's where this thing separates itself from a traditional trainer. There's outdoor simulations of some really cool routes, and that's where the bike's UI really shines. There's also indoor workouts with someone leading the class, kind of what you would see with Peloton. One thing I can see myself doing a lot, go into free mode, turn on erg, and use the inner controls to set the resistance to a percentage of my FTP. Then turn on YouTube or Netflix and just grind it out. It takes 1 second to hop on the bike and start that. And the biggest thing for me, all the stages of the Grand Tours are here. You got the Giro Italia, the Tour de France, and the Vuelta. So that would be super fun experiencing the real-time course resistance and all the crazy climbs, and the distance is super long too. So overall, I really like this VeloNix. It's a premium, well thought out, smart indoor trainer, but let's talk the price. So first, my Zwift ride with the Kicker Core 2 ran about $1,300. But then when you add in a tablet, a TV, or a laptop, well, that adds up pretty fast. The VeloNix doesn't need any of that. It's an all-in-one system, and it's currently on sale for $2,429, but you can save a bit more by clicking my link and using code EVANS. Even if this bike isn't in your budget, I firmly believe that indoor riding changed my life. Time is one thing that we don't get more of, and indoor riding gave me the best return on the time that I actually have. So if you have any experience riding indoors or you're curious about it, let me know in the comments.